Imagine this. You're a huge fan, and two of your absolute favorite global superstars announce a brand new show. You'd think it would be a huge celebration, right? But what happens when that good news is immediately met with a storm of negativity? From the fans themselves? Yeah, it's a weird situation, and that's the paradox we're diving into today. So what is really going on here? How does a gift for the fans turn into this huge online battle? Well, it tells us a lot about the intense pressures of modern fan culture. Let's break down exactly what happened. All right, first things first, let's set the stage. We're talking about a massive announcement, a project that, on paper, seems like a total no-brainer, a guaranteed hit with fans. So here's what went down. The official BTS account announces a brand new Disney Plus series, Are You Sure 2, starring two of its members, Jimin and Jungkook. For any fan, this is like the ultimate treat, a chance to see their idols in a more relaxed, personal way. You'd expect nothing but excitement. But that's not quite what happened. Almost immediately, the celebration was completely overshadowed by something else, a wave of backlash that just seemed to come out of nowhere. Yeah. Instead of party emojis and cheers, the announcement was flooded with comments that were not just critical, they were demanding and, in some cases, pretty malicious. And we're not talking about just a few unhappy people. This was a loud, intense, and very coordinated seeming reaction. And these weren't just vague complaints. The demands were incredibly specific. Some fans were outright calling for a Jimin-only version, and even threatening to boycott the entire show if they didn't get it. This wasn't just feedback, it was basically an ultimatum. Now, at the exact same time, a totally different line of criticism popped up, this time all about Jungkook. This comment argues that his incredible talents were being wasted on what they call a fan service show. Basically, they felt it was content just to please fans, not a serious artistic project, and that he should be focusing on a solo tour. And that wasn't a one-off comment. Others jumped in saying an artist of his caliber was being used for a show instead of making music. So you've got this wild situation. On one side, people are demanding the show be re-edited for just one member, and on the other, people are rejecting the show entirely for the other member. Two passionate but completely opposite negative reactions. So to really get what's happening here, we have to look inside the fandom itself. This isn't just random anger floating around the internet. It's actually rooted in the really complex and sometimes conflicting structure of these massive online fan communities. It turns out, this backlash seems to be coming from very specific subgroups inside the larger fan base. These aren't just casual listeners. We're talking about highly organized groups, and each one has its own very specific and often very rigid idea of what their favorite artist should be doing. So the first group we need to talk about are called solo stans, and the name pretty much says it all. Their loyalty is to one single member of the group. Their support for that person can be so intense that any group project or even a collaboration with another member is seen as a distraction or even something harmful to their favorite's career. Then you have another group known as shippers, which comes from the word relationship. These are fans who are really invested in a perceived romantic connection between two members. Now, you'd think a show featuring both members would be exactly what they want, but if the content doesn't fit their specific idea of that relationship, they can react just as negatively. Okay, so now that we know who some of the key players are, let's look at how their totally different demands created this perfect storm of online criticism. This is really where the conflict becomes crystal clear. On one side, you have what looks like Jimin's solo stans, demanding his part of the show be separated from Jungkook's. And on the other side, you have Jungkook's solo stans, who see this whole project as a waste of time, arguing he should be making music and touring instead. It's like a bizarre tug of war, with both sides trying to pull the artists in completely opposite directions. And here's the really important takeaway from all this. This whole incident pulls back the curtain on a central paradox in these huge modern fandoms. The same intense passion that launches an artist into superstardom can twist and turn into this incredible, conflicting pressure. So let's just quickly recap what this all tells us. First, this idea of a single, unified fanbase is kind of an illusion. It's really a collection of passionate and sometimes warring subcultures. Second, that amazing fan support can quickly turn into intense pressure, where some fans feel a sense of ownership over an artist's career. And maybe most ironically of all, a project that was literally created as a gift for the fans can become the very thing that drives a wedge between them. Which leaves us with a pretty powerful question, especially for entertainment today. When fans' voices are this loud and their demands can actually impact an artist's work and a company's decisions, who's really in the driver's seat? The artists, the companies, or the fans themselves? It's definitely something to think about.